What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Wednesday, December 23rd. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Ben Simmons from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Washington Wizards, who have the third worst defense overall, and they give up the fifth most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Ben Simmons, he's averaged 42.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 35 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He's projected at 40.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.4 times value. He's $9,200 FanDuel salary and $500 less on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 228.5 points scored in this game, so you have a fantastic matchup, a high-scoring game. Ben Simmons can put up 50-plus fantasy points in this one, so I like Ben Simmons here versus the Washington Wizards. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Zach LaVine from the Chicago Bulls playing the Atlanta Hawks, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they give up the fourth most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Zach LaVine, he's averaged 40 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 35 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He's projected at 39.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $7,900 FanDuel salary and the same price on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 231.5 points scored in this game. Fantastic matchup, high-scoring game. So I like Zach LaVine here versus the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, if you're looking to save some salary at the shooting guard position, take a look at Dylan Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies playing the San Antonio Spurs, who have the 8th worst defense overall, and they give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Dylan Brooks, he's averaged 25.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 29 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's projected at 25.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $5,100 FanDuel salary and $300 more on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 231.5 points scored in this game, so I like Dylan Brooks here versus the San Antonio Spurs. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the position optimizer where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new player trends tool where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. So I got a sleeper pick for you, a low salary play. I like Josh Jackson from the Detroit Pistons playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the 2nd worst defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Josh Jackson, he's averaged 17.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 17 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. Now, this projection just depends on how many minutes Josh Jackson is going to get in this game. That's a big question mark in game 1. I think he's going to get around 20 minutes. I think he can score around 20 fantasy points. and he's only $3,500 FanDuel salary, and he's $500 less on DraftKings. So this is a fantastic matchup. So I like Josh Jackson here versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I like LaMarcus Aldridge from the San Antonio Spurs playing the Memphis Grizzlies, who have the 10th worst defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. LaMarcus Aldridge has averaged 37 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 33 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He's projected at 36.2 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.9 times value. He's $7,400 FanDuel salary and $900 less on DraftKings. So I love that DraftKings price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 231.5 points scored in this game. Good matchup here, high scoring game. So I like LaMarcus Aldridge here versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, moving on to the center position. If you've got the salary, I like Karl Anthony Towns here tonight. But if you're looking to save a little bit of salary, take a look at DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns playing the Dallas Mavericks, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing centers. DeAndre Ayton, he averaged 39.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 33 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He's projected at 34.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.5 times value. He's $7,600 FanDuel salary and $300 less on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 235.5 points scored in this game, so plenty of fantasy points to go around. So I like DeAndre Ayton here versus the Dallas Mavericks.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.